How would your life change if you knew you were going to die in a week? How much would your life change if you knew you were going to die in 6 months, a year, even stretch it out to 5 years? I bet if you knew exactly when you were going to die, that would change a lot of your priorities. It would change the way that you live your life on a day-to-day basis. It would change your goals. It would change the way you treat your relationships, the way you treat learning, the way you treat everything. Me personally, I'm someone who uses the lens of life being short as a real means of motivation. And there is a book that really influenced me in that thinking. And it's a short, teeny tiny little book called On the Shortness of Life. It is a compilation of the teachings of the Stoic philosopher Seneca. So I'm going to be doing a book review, a book summary about the shortness of life. And hopefully by the end of this, you'll have more perspective. You can check out that book as well as some of the other resources I mentioned in the video. But before we get to that, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Hit that little notification bell so you get brand new videos the moment that they come out. That notification bell is very important. So make sure you are staying in tune with the channel. Okay. One of the things that I love about Seneca and some of the other Stoic philosophers is just the kind of the frankness and the matter of factness that they use when they talk about life. And one of the quotes that Seneca says, and it's borderline cruel the way he puts it, but it does put things into perspective. And he says, you're so afraid of dying, but when it comes to the life that you're actually living right now, how much different is it than being dead? How much is your life different than being dead? What are some of the things that you are doing throughout your day-to-day to actually move the needle in your life? What percentage of your time are you not going through the motions? What percentage of your time are you present? What percentage of the time are you learning? Are you finding purpose? Are you building deep and meaningful connections? Are you taking time for true leisure instead of this scatterbrained, distracted version of reality? How much time do you spend actually enjoying your life? So one of the central arguments of the shortness of life is actually that life is not short at all. He says in the book that you can make life long, that life is long if you know how to use it properly. You know, I heard somewhere, I think it was a comedian or somebody said something along the lines of, life isn't short. It's literally the longest thing you'll ever do. But it's a matter of what we do with that time, which is why I constantly talk about mortality. I talk about the fact that you could be leaving this earth at any moment. So reverse engineering that and learning how to take that future perspective and bring it back to the present so that you can stay motivated is a key. And if you figure out how to master your life, or at least, kind of navigate it instead of letting it drift aimlessly, you can experience a long life, you can have a happy life, you can achieve a lot of your goals, you can do a ton, but you have to have the right perspective. One of the things that Seneca talks about in the book is really the concept of time. Everyone is talking about time management, they're talking about how to be productive, but one thing that maybe doesn't get talked about as much is the way that we just so freely give away our time. And one of the things that Seneca says in the book, and he's like, you wouldn't give away your money freely. You're very frugal when it comes to your money. You don't just hand it out to any random person that asks you. So why are you not frugal with your time? Why do you give equal weight to equal obligations? I actually talked about this in my book review of The One Thing, and it talks about that idea of prioritization, where most people get in trouble because they feel obligated to say yes when actually creating boundaries and saying no is going to give you that time to actually prioritize the thing that you want in your life. If you just give away your time freely, then you'll notice it slipping away. And people do this all the time. These are things that I've talked about ad nauseum on the channel. And I'm not saying that you have to be a self-improvement robot. I'm not saying that you have to have these deep, meaningful conversations. I'm not saying you can't have fun. I'm not saying you can't have distractions. I'm not saying you can't watch Netflix and go out with your buddies on the weekend. But think about it. How much of your time is spent actively engaged in the process of living versus you just squandering it away. So what do I mean by the active process of living? Well, some of the things that Seneca mentions in the book is philosophy. One thing that you should be doing in your life is building a set of principles, a guiding philosophy for you to live by, and then you measure yourself up against that philosophy and continue to improve. So you don't just want to float through your life not ever monitoring how well you're doing. I just talked about this in another video. Life is something that you need to learn how to live. It is something that you should be monitoring. It is an evolving process where you're measuring your level of understanding that you have today versus where you were before. And there's an art of learning, implementing, documenting your progress, and living that practical philosophy in your life to where you'll actually have a conscious awareness of how well you're adhering to your own principles. And there's something very rewarding about doing that. So engaging in practical philosophy is a huge aspect of what Seneca talks about in terms of living a good life. This extends into the idea of learning. This is why I'm constantly reading. This is why I'm constantly studying, and not just studying, but implementing the information I learn. I'm always happy when I learn something new. I'm always feeling like there's meaning and true joy in scratching that itch of curiosity and discovering new things, not just about the world, but about myself. Half the reason why I love to write, half the reason why I love to make videos is that I have to make sure that I'm articulating what I believe in a proper way when I'm communicating with you. So this helps me sharpen my own thinking. This helps me get a better understanding of myself. I'm learning just as much as I'm sharing information with other people, and that's what makes it so fun. And these moments are some of the moments where I feel most alive, where it does feel like time is slowing down, where it does put me into that flow state where I'm focused and in the zone. And I kind of collect these moments over a lifetime to where I have a collection of these areas where I'm gaining insights and teaching and learning and practicing this philosophy. So these are a couple ways that you can be actively engaged. Another way you can be actively engaged is learning how to have real leisure. What is real leisure? Real leisure is planned time where you're just focused on relaxing. And this is different from the reactive type of type of relaxing that we all do, where we're stressed out about our day and we kind of plop down on the couch, we're watching Netflix, we got our phone open, we got our computer open, we got 97 tabs open, and we're not really relaxing because all this is doing is alleviating our stress via distraction. You're not actually taking time to be with yourself. So there's another saying from, I believe it was, I forget the name of who said it, but it says that man's problems stem from his inability to be in a room alone. So when you're really taking time for yourself, just take time for yourself. Be in the present moment. So many of us are scared to just be. How many moments do we have where we're actually taking time to relax, to enjoy the surrounding? When's the last time you went for a beautiful walk and you looked at some flowers? When's the last time you actually smelled the flowers, right? So this is something else that you can do. Take time for active leisure. Take time to be in the present moment. There are a lot of teachers from Eastern philosophy to people like Eckhart Tolle and the like who talk about the fact that so much of our anxiety stems from our inability to be present. So we're always thinking about the future, or we're ruminating in the past. So you might live an entire life, but if you don't live those moments of your life in the moment, it feels like time is slipping away because you weren't actually there to experience what was going on in front of you. And this is what many of us do. We live in an increasingly distracting culture. And this is something that I suffer with myself. I'm on my phone too much. I'm wasting time doing things that are unproductive way too much. I'm out of the present moment way too much. So all of these things are reminders to focus on the things that matter most in life: meaning, purpose, leisure, present, learning, updating your philosophy. And then that present comes when you're interacting with other people too. I talk about often kind of solving this meaning area in your life can make you more present when you're around others. You can think of kind of this prototypical parent who comes home and they're so stressed out and they hate their job and they have all these errands and they have all this anxiety and they have all this BS in their mind, to where they can't have that capability to just be there and be present with their children, and their children know it, and there's this sense of that in the air, this low level of anxiety in the air. Everyone in the family feels it, and it all comes from this lack of purpose, this lack of presence, and this lack of practical philosophy that you should engage in that will extend your life. The remedy is simple. You know the remedy. You know the remedies to everything I put in every video. It's just a matter of embracing emotionally the things that you know logically. Read through this book and there will be gems upon gems upon gems, quotes upon quotes that are very poignant and that will hit you to the core, and it'll help you have that perspective that your life is short unless you decide to make it long by being present and engaging. Your life is going to go by just like that. Go to an old folks home and visit someone and ask them about their life, and they'll tell you how much of it they may have felt like it slipped by. So read the book, get the perspective, and hopefully you'll be able to live a long and fulfilling life. Okay, while you're in the Amazon cart checking out this book, you might as well throw Real Help and Honest Guide to Self-Improvement. Obviously, you want to read this. This is like the quick guide to getting all of the knowledge from all of my favorite books, kind of synthesized and woven in with my experience into a helpful guide for you. So grab that, Real Help and Honest Guide to Self-Improvement. It'll be in the description below. It'll be a link in bio on Instagram. It'll be wherever. I'll post it somewhere on my social media. If you don't see it, just Google it and find the book, Real Help and Honest Guide to Self-Improvement. Make sure you go and do that. Lastly, for those of you who are on YouTube, make sure that you subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you can get brand new videos when they come out. Make sure that you like the video, leave a comment, leave your 2 cents so I know other video topics that you want to see next. There should be some videos popping up in front of your face right now. Make sure to check those out, and I will see you on the next video.